three things hurt Detroit. One, they're not as good as Dallas. Two, they had poor field position. And then three, they had those 2 turnovers.
And even though Dallas didn't get a lot of points as a result of the turnovers, they did have them pinned down, and they did get a couple of poor kicks by Detroit.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think the turnovers may not have directly turned into points like they do sometimes, but they turned into good field position. So it's been kind of Dallas having the better field position and maybe more importantly, packing a bigger load, having a better football team.
That does help. Kelvin Martin back deep for the Cowboys.
Because they could sure spread it out on you.
Hanson's kick is high and deep at the goal line. There's Martin. To about the 26, hit by Harry Colin.
Martin on the return for Dallas. Colin on the stop for Detroit.
Average starting position. Look at this.
Well, that's the thing. You see that Dallas started on Detroit's 47, and Detroit started on their own 14. So if you do some quick math there, that's 33 yards of field position. And you know, sometimes that, you know, in college football, that's always a big thing. Changing the field, shorten the field, hash marks, and all that stuff. But it's really true in any part of any game.
Aikman to Smith. Emmitt Smith to the 30. Spielman made the stop.
You know, again, I think since Norv Turner came to the Cowboys, they're really going to throw this shorter stuff. If you look under 10 yards in here, 5 out of 10, 22 yards. Between 10 and 20, they're 2 out of 5. And then once you get over 20, you can see that they've only thrown 1 pass. And that was the one that was, you know, that deep one that they completed early to Alvin Harper.
And it was underthrown.
Yeah. But I think they have to do more of that.
The sideline pattern to Irvin. Dallas first down, covered by and stopped by Melvin Jenkins. Mad because he didn't break it.
Well, that's what he's thinking there. You know, the one thing about Michael Irvin, he always does that. He always thinks that he's always open, and he always thinks that every time he catches a ball, he ought to score a touchdown with it. And that's pretty good. You see, he was looking there, but he didn't have enough room.
That's right.
I think he thought when he turned to that left that he had a little more sideline there, and he looked down and said, uh-oh, my next step's going to be out of bounds.
First down, Dallas, their own 42. No, but check in motion, and Aikman will throw on first down and go deep. Harper. Touchdown, Dallas. One-man signal touchdown. The man on the side said, this is Michael Irvin. I'm sorry, I thought it was Harper. 57-yard. Now they're saying his knee was down at about the 1 or 2.
Look at old Nate Newton. He gets down there and he gives him the old hit in the hat. Now, you just caught an out on Melvin Jenkins. See, so what he's going to do is he's going to sell him that he's going to run that pattern. He's going to sell him he's going to run a hook to get him to glide there to hold so he can run by him. He does it, and that's a perfect throw by Troy Aikman. Now what they're saying is where his knee goes down, it's where the ball is when his knee goes down. They said it was on the 1-yard line.
Emmitt Smith. His third of the day. From a yard out.
I think Michael Irvin, he's looking up there at that screen to see how they did it. The players all here in Detroit always look at the play, then they look up at the screen to see the replay or the live action. There's Michael Irvin there. He's looking at his own play. See, he was able to come back in the sideline and then look up there to see if he was in the end zone or not. There's the screen, and this is what it looks like.
And that's live. That's Elliott with Berline holding. As Dallas leads now 26. Now 27 to nothing. To 3. Detroit got the field goal. Dallas has 2 and 3 touchdowns.
Here's Michael Irvin here. He's going to come in by Jenkins here, make a move here, and then go back up. One thing that really helped us is Troy Aikman gave a pump fake, and it also held the safety because he should be there, but the safety should also be there to help. But watch as Irvin runs and he makes his move, Troy Aikman gives a pump. See, the motion brings the safety, Benny Blades, over a little. Right there, the pump, that holds both the corner and the safety, and that let Michael Irvin get a couple of steps right there. That was a good call by the official, because we're going to see here, it's where the ball is when his knee goes down. And we watch where his knee hits, and we'll stop it right there. See, the knee is down there, and when the knee is here and the ball is here, so they spotted it on the 1-yard line.
Elliott's kickoff deep into the end zone to Gray. He's going to bring it out from 4 yards. And Gray with some room. Hit by the kicker and tripped up by Elliott. He almost broke it.
And the guy made that, this is a guy that Jimmy Johnson was worried about, and the guy who made the tackle was a guy who had to make the tackle, his rookie kicker, number 2, Lin Elliott. He just put his head down. I don't know if that's a tackle or that's one of those things where you just kind of put your head down, your shoulder into the ground, close your eyes, and you hope he trips over you.
A protective tackle.
And he's bragging about it. He said, well, I get that guy. Can't fool me in the open field. I'll tackle anyone.
Rodney Peete, still the quarterback. Screen pass to Perryman. With some room and out of bounds by Washington. And a gain of 6.
Yeah, let's see the kicker here. I'm sure his eyes are closed. You see, that's a good tackle. Head down, eyes closed, knees bent, bow-legged, and then just go right to the ground, and he trips over you.
Go get a drink.
Yeah, and then tell the guy. But see, the only guy to listen to him is the guy in street clothes.
Yeah.
I'll guarantee you there's no guy in shoulder pads that's going to listen to Lin Elliott.
2nd and 4. Pass complete to Mike Farr. Should be enough for Detroit first down. Is a gain of 5.
I think the Lions came in here. Now they're going with no huddle. They're trying to change this pace. I think they came in here feeling that they could really throw the ball in the Cowboys. Now 27-3, they have to.
There's Rodney Peete, chased by Tolbert, out of bounds by Norton. And he went almost up into the stand. Now they take him out.
That's tough for him. You make that long chase, and then you want to get that one shot in. That's exactly what happens. Again, when the quarterback runs, he's a runner, so you can hit him, but you can't hit him when he goes out of bounds. It looked like Ken Norton gave him a push right there, right at the sideline.
He took the table and the telephone and everything with him.
They're still putting that back together.
2nd down. Lead about 9. Peete going deep. Pass is intercepted by Everett. His 2nd of the day. Peete is still on the ground.
I think Peete got hit just as he threw that ball, and it looks like he hurt his right arm or shoulder because he's not getting up. I mean, this pass rush of the Cowboys has really been something. They've been bringing safeties, corners, letting guys come. And you see it was that 2nd hit by Tony Tolbert that got him.
It was Maryland first and then Tolbert.
Yeah, if we look at that shot again, we're going to see Tolbert come from his right. Rodney Peete's looking downfield. Watch the hit he takes right there. I mean, that's his shoulder and neck and the whole right side of his body. You know, one thing about a quarterback, they can't look at the rush. They have to look beyond the rush and downfield, and they take some outlandish hits.
2nd and 4. Emmitt Smith gets a first down for the Cowboys. Into Detroit territory, a gain of 5. Jerry Ball made the stop.
You know, last year Detroit had so much success in the playoffs, remember, against them, that 17 of their first 20 plays, remember, were passes. And today they only threw 7 passes total in the first half, which was a result of a better Dallas team and, again, that poor field position we talked about.
First down, Dallas at the Detroit 47. Aikman will throw on first. Gets it to Darrell Johnston, the fullback. Stopped by Spielman. A gain of 7. Saw a moment ago the trainer for the Lions had one finger up in front of Rodney Peete, waving back and forth, saying how many and where.
Well, again, the first thing they have to check is at the neck, the shoulder. You can see that you're saying they're looking like he strained that part of the neck, but they make sure that's okay, and then they go to the head, the concussion, to see if they still can understand everything.
Emmitt Smith, a gain of 7 and another Dallas first down. Spielman and Blades made the stop.
Hey, whatever it is, whether it's the neck or the head or the combination, Tony Tolbert really put a hit up on side of Rodney Peete's head, and and sometimes you don't know where it hurts. It's just the whole head and whole side of the body that hurts.
Well, Russell Maryland had him low from the other side, so there was no give.
Oh, and then you say, well, why'd you throw the interception? Because they just look at the heat that he's been taking all day. That's why the ball was intercepted. And again, I think that interception has to go to the pass rush.
Emmitt Smith, 3 touchdowns, 19 carries. Here's Aikman. To Alfredo Roberts, off his hands, intercepted by Melvin Jenkins. And so the Lions will take over there.
Well, did someone block Emmitt Smith? They were looking for him. They haven't been able to get Emmitt Smith all day. And then when you get the interception and you turned offense, boy, did they get him.
Eric Kramer will come in at quarterback for Detroit. The Lions trail Dallas 27-3. The Silverdome, Detroit. Pat Summerall with John Madden. Eric Kramer, the Lion quarterback. The Cowboys remember him. Jumping in front, as so often happens when you change quarterbacks.
Because it's a whole different rhythm, it's a whole different inflection, it's a whole different voice. It's not only different to the defense, but it's also different to your own guys.
False start, prior to the snap on the center. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And that's the rookie center, Blake Miller. And a center can't have a false start. What he does, he starts to move the ball before he brings it up. Now watch it. You see the ball there? If he moves it, he has to bring it. You see, he moved it, but he didn't bring it. Once you start that thing, you got to come back all the way up. You can't change your mind in the middle of it. And that's like diving off a board and say, oh, I don't want to do this. Well, you can't go back up.
Once you move it, you got to bring it.
Yep, you got to bring it or they'll call you.
The stroll into the backfield.
Hey, Haley did something there that I like, though. Not jumping off sides, but some guys that are a lot less players than Charles Haley will jump off sides and then go smash the quarterback. He knew he was wrong, and he didn't take the free shot.
Number 94, unabated towards the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
The word on Rodney Peete is that he has a pinched nerve in his neck and a slight concussion, and will not be back.
And if you look again, they had a lot of pressure on Rodney Peete. He was sacked twice, hurried 5 times, knocked down twice, had 2 interceptions, and then you add to that the bad field position. It was a long day.
Eric Kramer finally gets the play underway, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Perryman. Kenneth Gant on the coverage. Now, after facing that first down situation with 2 linebackers, the Cowboys go back to their original defensive theory of 4 down linemen, 1 linebacker, and 6 defensive backs.
You always have the dilemma when you play these guys. When they give you the 4 receivers, you'd like to play 6 defensive backs, but that only leaves you 1 linebacker against Barry Sanders. And if you play 2 linebackers, that only leaves you 5 defensive backs against 4 wide receivers.
Kramer to throw it. A blitz was on, and Kramer was leveled, intended for Herman Moore. Now you think now about that pressure from Dallas like this.
Well, you know, a guy that's really helped is right here, Jim Jeffcoat. You know, we know that Haley gives pressure from this side. They've gotten good pressure inside from the tackles, but Jim Jeffcoat is really having a pretty good game. I mean, he's having a pretty good game. They had a real good game last week, and has been that pressure guy. He used to be the right side. Now he's playing over on the left side, and on passing downs, he always seems to be around the quarterback.
Many more like that, and we'll see a third Detroit quarterback. Andre Ware would be, but he's inactive.
They took Russell Maryland out, and they dropped him back in pass defense.
Again, confusion on the snap between Miller and Kramer.
Yeah, that's a tough situation. I mean, the Detroit line has been, every problem that could happen they've had this year, including a rookie center and a new quarterback coming in.
Prior to the snap on the offense, 5-yard penalty, it remains 3rd down.
Yeah, we had one that was on the center. Now this one's on the quarterback. See, if you start the ball, you have to bring it. But the quarterback, if you start out, it's hard for you to get back up in there.
So if he brings it, you got to take it.
Yeah, that's right. Or you can't get out of there before he brings it. You got to wait for him to bring it.
Help wanted offensive lineman, and boy, that is pretty well true not only here but around the league.
And if you're going to bring some help for the offensive line, I think you could bring some help for this defense too.
Here's Kramer back to throw. This time he does have time. And Eric Kramer takes off, dives back to about the original line of scrimmage. A scramble of 6 stopped by Miles, and Detroit will have to punt. I get the feeling that when they go back to Dallas, Michael Irvin will be on the plane, the team plane.
Yeah, but I think the big thing is the next road trip they go on, is he going to be on that? And I'll guarantee you the next time they take a road trip, he's going to be on that airplane.
Kelvin Martin standing back deep. This time a pretty good punt. Out of bounds. Only pretty good. Dallas will take over. 35-yard kick. Fleischer for second. Levski in 20. You have to be over 40. 27-3 at the Pontiac Silverdome. Dallas leading Detroit. Curvin Richards is the running back. And as the coach, Jimmy Johnson, said to us last week about this guy, he can move the chains.
And he wants to give Emmitt Smith a thing. Watch Jerry Ball here, how close he gets. That's what you call paint to paint. He gets his helmet right up against the center's helmet. In fact, he had it right on Stepnoski's helmet. But Stepnoski did a pretty good job. Jerry Ball is hurting in there today. I mean, his knee or something, because they didn't move him out one-on-one early, but then they started double teaming, and they started getting a lot of running in there. He looks like he's holding that knee in a funny way.
That, plus he had a pinched nerve in his shoulder earlier and had it come out. Irvin Richards again, and he'll move the sticks. William White got him out of bounds.
Jimmy Johnson said, in fact, he planned to get Curvin Richards in today in the second quarter. Said what he wants to do, instead of waiting until the end of the game, and then you got a real tight game, you don't want to give Emmitt Smith a break then. And you don't want to give him a break right off the bat. So he thought the best time to give him the break would be in the middle of the game somewhere.
And with 5:40 left to play in the third quarter, and Dallas leading 27-3, he figured this is a good time to look.
I think that's the key word, being 27-3.
Yeah.
Why bang up Emmitt Smith now?
That's Harper in motion. Aikman, screen pass to Darrell Johnston. And a big fullback gets a loss of a yard after a lot of effort.
They don't do a lot of tricks. That was one. They faked the counter trade to the right and threw the old screen back the other way. Look at this. Here's a thing. You got the time of possession. You see Dallas has won that. And then the other thing time of possession gives you is more plays. They've had 43 plays. Detroit has only had 32. Then Detroit gets behind, and for example, in this second half, Barry Sanders hasn't carried the ball yet. And that's another way to get Barry Sanders out of the game, get ahead where a 5 or 10 yard run doesn't do anything.
Second down. Aikman, Novacek at the 45. Stopped by George Jameson after a gain of 7. That'll bring up third.
You know, Aikman looks a lot cooler than he used to. I mean, I think he used to be, you know, one of those guys that was always kind of pumped up and kind of had a lineman's mentality, which that's what I always liked about Aikman. But he looks like he's a lot quicker now, that he's dealing the ball off. He's eliminating the first read, getting to the second, third a lot quicker. And I think in doing that, everything he does is quicker.
Well, Jimmy Johnson was saying last night, it was sort of the macho idea that you had to stand in there and look tough, be tough, stand in the pocket, and not throw it away. Now he's throwing it away when there's nothing there.
And I think a lot of that has to do with Norv Turner, the offensive coordinator.
Sure.
I mean, he came in here from the Rams and kind of took Troy Aikman over, and he brought, you know, that with him and that balance we just looked at. You know, 22 runs, 22 passes, and then within those passes, everyone catches the ball. They really spread it out well.
Third down, they need about 5. Aikman gets it out to Emmitt Smith. Then he'll get the first down. So much for the rest for Emmitt.
Yeah, we were talking about Norv Turner. This is Norv Turner right here, the offensive coordinator. Dave Wanstadt, the defensive coordinator. I think that those guys have done a heck of a job. I mean, the whole staff has done a very good job. But Jimmy Johnson gives the offense to Norv Turner, gives the defense to Dave Wanstadt, and then he kind of takes control of the overall picture.
Irvin goes wide left, Harper right. First and 10, Dallas. Aikman back to Irvin Richards. Spindler led the Detroit defense. Richards got 3.
Tommy Agee's in there now at fullback. So this is one good thing that the Cowboys can do now with a 27-3 lead, is they're able to get some guys out and then conversely get some guys in, coming off 2 tough games. I mean, 2 weeks ago they played the Raiders, tough physical battle. Last week they played the Eagles. You can't give any tougher and more physical than that game was last week.
Boy, isn't that the truth? Plus, when you have that dislike element added in there. Here's Aikman to throw it. Novacek, first down, Dallas and more. Novacek to the 25-yard line of Detroit, dragged down by Spielman.
I think one of the best adjustments the Cowboys made this week was Novacek going to the gloves.
Yeah.
Because he's a sure-handed guy. He had that broken finger. He had that little bandage on it. And last week, nothing would work. I mean, he dropped 3 passes. But you see how quicker Aikman looks back there?
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like he can read sooner. He can eliminate the first, the second. Then when he decides to go, boom, it's just right there, right now. Novacek feels so good about his hand, he gave a guy a 2-handed shiver.
First down, Cowboys at the Detroit 25. Agee the fullback. This is Richards. Irvin Richards knocked out of bounds at about the 21 by Jameson.
But again, you get back to that job that offensive line, because Jay Novacek really doesn't do a lot of blocking.
She looking for you?
I don't know. I don't know who is. That's yeah. I think she's the guard down there for that sign. But anyway,
he's right up here if you're looking for him.
I don't think anyone cares. But the thing is the offensive line doesn't get a lot of help from the tight end. I mean, they get some help from their fullback, but that's why I think this group of 5 guys has done an outstanding job.
There's Aikman, flag on the play. Aikman up into the pocket, intended for Novacek. William White batted it down, but Detroit appeared to be offside.
Yeah, and that was a free play.
On the defense, number 95, 5-yard penalty, repeat second down.
As a coach, John, Detroit's been penalized a lot today. Would you like to see your team be penalized a lot as a result of aggressiveness, or it seems like Don Shula's teams are never penalized almost. They are, of course. But
yeah, but these teams, I mean, they haven't been penalized out of aggressiveness. I mean, they've been, penalized for doing some silly things, I think, and to me, that's discipline.
Second and short. That's A.G. 2 yards and another Dallas first down. Kofor made the stop.
We're talking about the offensive line and the job they've done, and the left side of the offensive line, they ran 17 times to the left. You look, well, now it's 18. They've run 18 times for 65 yards, 7 times to the right, and they did that same thing last week against the Eagles. They were almost 2 or 3 times as much to their left, which would be behind Mark Tuinei and Nate Newton over there on that side. Of course, last week it was away from Reggie White, but they have really done a job of run blocking and excellent pass protection.
And to the left, like that sort of goes against the grain. You think of every team, almost every team, as being right-handed, running to their right.
And then, of course, when you have a guy like Emmitt Smith, there's some of them you can start to the right and they'll end up at the left. Or remember the big one against the Eagles last week. He started to the left and ended up to the right. Look at the size of it. Now, there's a big old right tackle, Eric Williams, number 79. There's a big man.
Huge. First down, Cowboys. Aikman. Touchdown to Michael Irvin. Great throw. I don't think Irvin saw the ball till it was about 3 yards away.
That was one of those timing passes. Aikman's going to come back. Irvin is up there in the left. He's going to break right now. He threw him the ball right now. It was a little behind him. And Irvin, by the time he turned, he just reached up and grabbed it. But Michael Irvin has that talent. I saw him do that against a lot of teams.
Saw him do it against the Redskins and Darrell Green last year when no one was throwing at Darrell Green.
Yeah, and then he went over and talked to his teammate, Emmitt Smith, double trouble. I think this week it's only single trouble.
The extra point is good. And Dallas adds to their lead, 34-3.
Again, here's Michael Irvin. He's just going to run a slant in here. Not very good coverage, but watch Aikman get back and throw it before Irvin's even turned. And it's a little behind him. Watch him. He starts in here, starts into the slant. The ball's thrown when he's on the 5-yard line, and he catches it 1 yard into the end zone. He made it look awfully easy. He took that ball, gave it to the equipment man, Buck Buchanan, told him to put it away. He wanted to keep that one.
That's a very safe place with Buck. Buck doesn't give anything away.
No. Michael Irvin still doesn't look in real good humor, though, either.
Gray down at about the 14 by Kenneth Gant.
See what they do is, in fact, he and Emmitt Smith both, they save all their touchdown balls. So there's Buck Buchanan.
Buck.
See, he got all that stuff hanging from him. He got the belt there. He got stuff in the back. Among all the things he has to do, look at Buck. He's even going to keep that thing locked.
Oh, yeah.
Then he puts the ball in there. He has 3 of Emmitt Smith. You see the 3 over there? Those are for Emmitt Smith. And he has a jersey for someone. Then on the right side, he puts Michael Irvin.
And I'll guarantee you, Buck knows where everything is that's in there. What's in there? He takes inventory on the gum.
And the other thing, he knows what's in, and it's locked up too.
Yeah, right.
So no one else is going to get it. They're not even going to know what's in there.
Kramer to Mike Farr. 8-yard gain. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. Dallas 34, Detroit 3. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. One more quarter at the Silverdome. Dallas 34, Detroit 3. Lion ball, second down and about 3. Flag on the play. That's Barry Sanders. Maryland comes out of there with the ball. Flags all over the place, and another one.
I think that's going to be that free play anyway, Pat, because that was the motion against Detroit. I think it was illegal motion where the guy turned upfield before the ball was snapped. That has to be one of the calls.
Dallas jumped while that motion was going on. Whether or not he was headed upfield by that time, Russell Maryland hopped into the backfield.
We could have multiple penalties here because, as you said, there's flags all over the place. We'll get this straightened out there. We're going to get to the bottom of this. That. Legal man downfield. That. Both of them were against Detroit. I mean, excuse me, both of them were against Dallas.
Another use for the helmet. Used as a bongo drum.
Remember Isaac Holt last week? He got in the fight down there in the end zone with Calvin Williams.
There was a multiple foul on the play. Offside on the defense. That's a 5-yard penalty, and that penalty was accepted. There was also an illegal forward pass by the recovering team after the fumble. That penalty is declined. First down.
Of course, that second penalty couldn't happen if the first penalty, but I thought that Detroit had an illegal guy in motion, too, so that could have been, like you said, when Russell Maryland jumped offside.
Eric Kramer continues to be the Detroit quarterback. Barry Sanders deep. Kramer fakes to Sanders. Chased by Tolbert. Gets rid of it to Sanders. And he's knocked out of bounds. Ken Norton.
See, that's how you take Barry Sanders out of the game. You get ahead 34-3. Then you get them to play one-dimensional. They have to pass because you take the run away. Then if you take the run away, then there's no threat of play pass. So the only thing you have left is to throw the ball. Then the defense knows that, so they just tee off and cover. Every game, you try and get it down to one dimension, and you play that one dimension hard.
Steve Berline. He'll probably replace Aikman the next time Dallas gets the ball. 2nd and 7. Sanders behind Brown. Fumble and out of bounds. Tolbert chased him down.
Tony Tolbert made a nice play on that because he was again blocked on the line of scrimmage, reacted, got off the block, and came down and made that tackle. And as you say, I think when the guy goes from the football hat to the baseball hat, he's probably going out. But watch 92, Tony Tolbert. He makes a play there, forces him to the inside, gets by him, and then chases him, comes back, and then knocks the ball out of there. That's about a trifecta for Tony Tolbert.
Full package.
A pretty good day. Tony Tolbert was the guy that put Rodney Peete out of this game.
And Steve Berline.
Steve Berline could be the best backup quarterback in the National Football League. The key thing is at the end of this season, he's going to be a free agent. He's talking about a valuable guy.
Well, he got Dallas a long way last year when Aikman went down. Kramer has the pass picked off by Kenneth Gant. Was he inbounds?
The way he's celebrating, he had to be inbounds.
The 4th turnover. Perryman was the intended receiver, but that's a pretty good step he comes up with.
Well, again, you see Kramer looks that way all the way. So Gant can get the jump. He knows that Kramer's coming that way. He gets the jump, and then he cuts in front. You see, you can either go to the receiver, behind the receiver, or in front of the receiver.
It is an interception. It does stand. He did stay in bounds with both feet.
Did he have control of the ball, though? Yeah.
I think he did.
I think he had the whole thing. Control, 2 feet in, knees, everything.
Quarterback is Berline. Irvin Richards, the running back.
But as you say, here's a guy, Steve Berline, that did a heck of a job for the Cowboys when Troy Aikman was hurt. And I don't know that the Cowboys are going to be able to keep him. I think that, I mean, he's one of those guys that could start on many teams in the National Football League and win.
They would like to keep him.
I think it's a tough thing for Berline to know that the only time you're going to play is mopping up like this, or when Aikman gets hurt. You don't want that to happen.
2nd and 3. Alfredo Roberts, the move man. This is Irvin Richards again. Richards. Down close to the 20. Stopped by Spielman.
I think everyone gets their ball now. I'll tell you, this is getting expensive for the owner of the Cowboys, Jerry Jones, but I'm sure he doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
Look, see, he needs Buck to tell him where to put those
Well, there's
balls.
no place in there.
No, because Emmitt Smith got a full load. Of course, Michael Irvin got it. I think he went to the offensive box. Now he has to go find a box for the defense.
It's going to put it in the hamper where they keep the towel.
Yeah, but now no one can get a drink anymore. I'll guarantee you, if he works for Buck, he'll hide it, though.
Irvin Richards still on his feet. Fights his way all the way to the 7-yard line. Dennis Gibson. That's why.
Oh, there's nothing. There's the old jersey. There's Emmitt Smith's jersey. Remember from last week?
Yeah.
They took that thing. They gave him a new one. There's his old one. They brought it with them and locked him up. So now Gant has his ball that he can take home on Monday.
Maybe. If they can get him to unlock it.
They ought to give Nate Newton a ball. I mean, the way big old Nate, and he has a bad knee, big old Nate.
Yeah.
Man, Nate's been blocking like heck. I don't know what that is, though, that circus thing right above his belt.
I think I do. Irvin Richards. Fumble into the end zone. Still loose. Detroit had it. It popped loose again. And they'll bring it back to the 20. Detroit did recover it. That's Kevin Gogan, number 66.
Ball spot on the 20-yard
Picking up 2
line,
guys.
touchdown.
So again, we see the good block in there, good move by Richards, and then he fumbles before he gets to the end zone. The ball goes in, and once the ball is recovered and has control, then it's Detroit's ball.
Michael Irvin and Nate Newton both have TV shows locally in Dallas, but they are vastly different programs.
So what kills me is, you do the Michael Irvin show, he's all cute, legs crossed.
Yeah.
Hello, this is the Michael Irvin show. This is the quick strike Viper play of the week. You see Coach Johnson all snarl. The guys are really coming on. We're not.
To be continued.
You're not going to confuse Nate Newton with Michael Irvin.
No. What a great guy Nate Newton is. Funny. Barry Sanders. There's Michael Irvin.
Yeah, with his knees crossed, too, and I think someone caught him. You never cross your knees. You never sit like that. Then he looked up at the screen. He said, "Oh, no, I can't sit like that. They're going to laugh at me." So it goes like that, and then you got to spit.
Wow.
Oh, no, you're not going to catch me. Yeah.
That got us back in character. There's Nate. Talk about a guy that loves to laugh. And maybe he'll have a cracker.
Well, he loves his meals, and he loves to play football. And he has the right attitude. I mean, everything is fun to old Nate.
Flag on the play. 2 flags.
Kramer bring up a first down pass. Down, forced him out. Penalty markers on the field.
This game is presented by authority of the National Football League. The CBS telecast intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Detroit Lions, and the National Football League is prohibited.
Yeah, I was looking at the Detroit drafts. There, that was an offensive pick there. You don't see that called very often. It happens a lot. I mean, they get these fancy picks and so on, but they called the Lions for an offensive pick.
Pass interference on the offense, number 80, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That's on Brett Perryman. What
Right.
he did is he comes and he blocks one guy, and then the other receiver runs off him.
It's first down and 20. Moore wide right, Green left. Perryman the move man. Kramer, pass complete. Herman Moore.
Yeah, I was looking at the draft picks. In 92, these are the guys that the Lions had, and you can see that they're kind of helping. So I thought, well, you're in the 2s. Let's look at 82, and there's not much left from 82. Then you go back to 72. Who'd they get in 72? Then you go back to 62, and look, John Hadle. You don't remember that? Then I figured, go back to. Look, they got a George Summerall in there, drafted by the Detroit Lions in 1952.
I know Pat.
Well, it was the same guy.
Yep.
There's Pat Summerall.
Something happened to his hair.
Pat Summerall, drafted in 1952 by the Detroit Lions.
I didn't get any bonus.
You remember this?
I don't remember posing like that.
Look at this. They had George Summerall, and then they just go like this. They just scratched out old George, and they put in Pat there. So it's been Pat ever since.
Well, they didn't scratch me out forever. That's a good thing.
It all started right here with the Detroit Lions in 1952.
Never played here.
And then the guy that was drafted with you was Yale Larry.
Hall of Famer. Boy, what a great punter he was. And what a great defensive backfield he played in. Here.
And his old defensive backfield partner, Jim David, you saw he was here at practice yesterday. You were talking to him.
Kramer just threw it up to the open grass.
Well, how did you get drafted by Detroit and then not end up playing here?
Well, I was an offensive defensive end and a kicker.
From Arkansas.
Right. And they had 3 other kickers. And the Cardinals didn't have a kicker, so I was traded to the Cardinals. They had Jim Martin kicking here. They had Doak Walker. And Pat Harder, the old official, was here doing some place kicking. So I got to kick from 50 yards out. So I didn't get many chances.
Then you went to the Chicago Cardinals.
Right.
And, of course, to the Giants.
Which was maybe the luckiest thing that ever happened to me. So Dallas takes over after that 41-yard punt. Can't throw in the hat or the towel yet. Emmitt Smith. Double trouble. Smith and Irvin.
Someone just stole some from him, but he didn't want taken.
Irvin Richards again with the ball. 8:13 left to play. Dallas 34, Detroit 3. Dallas about to improve to 8-1. The best record in the NFL. And as you said earlier, they were saying to us yesterday, maybe we're not the most talented. Those two certainly are among the most talented. But right now, I think I agree with you. They're certainly the best team.
And
maybe New Orleans.
Yeah. I think they're the best team. I think they're playing better than anyone right now. The Saints have good defense. The 49ers could be awfully close in the NFC.
Berline. Caught by Alvin Harper. A gain of 13, Kevin Scott. The Cowboys 7-1 starts. This will make it 8-1. But you see what happened to them after those great starts in years past. Back in '68, they lost in the first round of the playoffs, and that continued through '83.
Yeah, there's an interesting thing. Andre Ware there. They have a rule in the NFL that you can suit up an extra quarterback. He's not active, but the only way he can play is both of your quarterbacks get injured. So he is not among the 45 active. He is the 46th guy that can only play in an emergency.
And if he does play, neither of the other two can come back.
Yeah, that's the end, and there has to be an injury. So I'm sure there's people thinking, why don't they put Andre Ware in? Why don't they give him some time? And one of the reasons is he's not active to play today.
Today's game was produced by Bob Stinner and directed by Sandy Grossman. The coordinating producer of the NFL Today is Eric Mann. The NFL Today was directed by Duke Struck, and the senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin. There is another vital member of our cast who's going to have a birthday very shortly, next week in fact, Mike Frank. And he contributes to our program athletically, aesthetically, in a lot of ways.
Academically, and happy birthday.
Irvin Richards, right side. Gain of 8. Should be another Dallas first down. Mike Frank, an outstanding golfer.
No, there are guys that are golfers, and there are people that play golf, and and everyone goes in one of those categories, or someone who doesn't care. You can either be a golfer, like a big offensive lineman cannot be a golfer. I mean, Jerry Baltrice said he's a defensive lineman. He can't be a golfer. None of these guys there can be golfers. Too big. Golfer's a little guy. Then there are guys, they can play golf, but the real golfers are golfers, like playing the tour and look like golfers.
You're drawing a line then at Mike Frank?
No, like, this guy here is not a golfer. I mean, he may play golf, but he's not a golfer. This guy could be a golfer, but you know, I don't know.
That guy next to him looked like he just lost an election.
Yeah, there's a lot of golfers that don't go to football games because they're out playing golf.
Would you call that enthusiastic applause?
No, these guys don't play golf. You can't play golf with a cowboy hat. That's one rule.
They rode the horse up here from Dallas.
That guy can't play golf. They got to be, you know, like John Daly. I mean, how do you hit the ball farther than John Daly? In fact, Chichi Rodriguez, I read today, here's a guy who watches golf. But Chichi Rodriguez says that John Daly hits the ball farther than he goes on some vacations.
Yeah, right.
Now, how do you get up in the morning and put some of this stuff on that these people wear? I mean, at some point you have to say, well, this is it. I'm going to wear my hat with the goalpost on it.
I don't think I've ever said that.
No.
Richards again. Breaks a couple of tackles. 9 yards.
Winning is a great deodorant. Michael Irvin, I mean, he came in, he was contrite. That's a word, contrite. He had his head down. Now he got game balls and touchdowns, and they win. And he's saying Miami's #1. Washington got beat yesterday. Miami's #1, he's saying.
Contrite, that's a word you use late in a one-sided game.
Yeah, or when you catch a wide receiver sitting on the bench with his legs crossed.
Yeah. Richards has carried the ball 12 times and gained 74 yards. AG in front of him. Richards gets another carry. Hit by Michael Kofer at about the 30. What hat are you going to wear today?
Or that. You say, well, I think I'll get a bag and I'll just write some stuff on it and then I'll put it over my head. Or, now, how do you do this? I'm going to paint my face. Or I'm going to paint my face. I mean, how do you decide? At some point, you have to decide that's what you're going to do. But at some point, you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, oh, good, that's perfect. That's just how I like it.
But it has to still be dark. A sedate crowd. How's that?
I think it's starting to get to be an empty crowd.
To Alfredo Roberts from Berline. William White made the stop. A Dallas first down at the 17-yard line.
Don't eat that pipe. Don't eat the pipe. There may be some stuff in there that's bad for you. Pipes cause cavities. Don't eat the pipe. Oh, what the heck.
Eat the pipe.
Go eat the pipe. How do you do that? I mean, this can't be serious. And then put the hat on and then the shades.
That guy's still looking for the game. First and 10.
How do you decide which part of your face gets painted which color?
That's Richards. Runs right into the Detroit defense. Eric Williams. Dennis Gibson was the leading tackler.
Someone knocked old Eric Williams airborne. You're going to wear something like this.
That guy looks like he's talking to. I don't know who.
Well, he believes it. He's not hooked up to anything. He believes he's talking.
That's the scary part, and that's pretty scary too.
I'm not. I mean, this guy here. You see the guy to the right of him? He's thinking, what in the heck is going on here today in Detroit?
We used to have a guy that worked with us whose nickname was Waiting for Parts. I think we got some of his relatives here. Based on the life, of course, of Frank Sinatra. It stars Philip Kasnoff, Olympia Dukakis, and Rod Steiger. That's all tonight on CBS. There's the lady that was guarding the sign, looking for you.
Well, she was just guarding the sign.
The sign was looking for you.
Look at big old 79 Eric Williams in there, still getting over guys. Yeah, I think that one day you're going to hear that name, Eric Williams. I think after you hear Eric Williams, you're going to hear Pro Bowl and All-Star and all those things.
He was a boxer.
Yeah, he's from Philadelphia, where a lot of boxers are from Philadelphia. In fact, he said he was a big Eagles fan. One time he remembers going to a game in Philadelphia. His coach got him tickets. He's a sophomore, and the Cowboys beat the Eagles, and he said he cried.
He didn't cry last week.
320 pounds, you can't cry.
Irvin Richards, left side. Stopped by Jameson.
This is a big break for the Cowboys to be able to get through this one, because as Jimmy Johnson said, one, they were right, but two, to get it early, to be able to rest your players, to not have to, leave everything out on the field again this week like they did the last 2 weeks.
Pretty good day for Irvin Richards.
Yeah, that was a short little stint. You go in there, you take Emmitt's place, and you pick yourself up 82 yards.
Elliott from 30 yards out. Hits his third of the day. And Dallas moves on top 37-3. 37-3. The Cowboys improve, or will improve, their record to 8-1. Halfway through, we began the day. They had the best record in pro football, and they'll keep that. Lin Elliott has had plenty of practice kicking off today. Belgray standing back deep at the goal line. A liner that's still going to be handled by Gray at about the 4. Here he comes out of the pack. James Washington. 11 seconds to go. It's been a long year for that man.
They had such a good year last year. You forget that just last season it was the Detroit Lions and the Washington Redskins for the championship to see who was going to go to the Super Bowl, and they were that close. They figured they needed a player here or a player there, and they've really gone in the opposite direction to a point where after today they're going to be 2-7.
And it was right here that they just destroyed Dallas to move into that championship game.
Well, they were the run and shoot then, the silver stretch, and then they changed the tight ends and lost linemen and had tragedies, and it seemed like everything just steamrolled against them. But right now, the Dallas Cowboys are, I think, the best team in the National Football League.
Well, they certainly looked like it today. Coming up, Greg and Terry with the scores and highlights from around the league. A lot of surprises as they continue around the league. The league of parity, they say, but upsets continue. 37-3 here. Once again, final score here at the Pontiac Silverdome. Dallas 37, Detroit 3. Stay tuned for the NFL Today postgame show. Greg and Terry will have all the scores and highlights. You're watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. Have joined us, and I guess, guys, this sort of erases those unhappy memories of last year.
Well, it